They fought for a country that refused to fight for them. They bled for a freedom they were never promised. They died in silence, and history erased their names. But today, we bring them back. Before you were ever taught about George Washington, Paul Revere, or the Redcoats, there were black patriots standing on the front lines of the American Revolution, rifle in hand, hope in heart, chains still clanking around their history. Yet no classroom dared mention them. No monument carried their stories. The question is, why? Before we uncover this buried chapter of American history, take a second to subscribe to Ancient Light, because this is the history they never wanted you to remember. Now let's begin. Imagine this. The year is 1775. The 13 colonies are on the brink of war with the British Crown. Freedom is the rallying cry, but only for some. Over 500,000 African people live in bondage throughout the colonies. Property, labor, inhumanly traded souls. The founding fathers, yes, even those who cried liberty or death, owned them. And yet as war ignites, thousands of black men make an impossible choice. Do they fight for the British, who offer them freedom in exchange for loyalty? Or do they fight for American rebels, who promise nothing but uncertainty? Let's start with the truth most never hear. The British Empire's bold move freedom for the enslaved in November 1775. Lord Dunmore, the royal governor of Virginia, issues a stunning proclamation. All indentured servants, Negroes or others that are able and willing to bear arms, they are hereby declared free. It was a political masterstroke and a humanitarian bombshell. Within weeks, hundreds of enslaved men escape their American masters and rush to the British side. These are men who have nothing but the dream of freedom. They become the Black Loyalists, the first organized black military presence in the American Revolution. Some are given uniforms. Others are used for labor. Many are thrown into direct combat. But here's the twist: not all black men fought for the British. The forgotten black patriots of the Continental Army, from the Battle of Lexington and Concord to Bunker Hill, free and enslaved black men stand alongside white rebels. Their names rarely appear in textbooks, but history remembers them. If you know where to look, Peter Salem, an enslaved man-turned-soldier who famously shot British Major Pitcairn at Bunker Hill, shifting the tide of the battle. Salem Poor, who fought so valiantly that 14 officers petitioned Congress to reward him for his bravery. James Armistead Lafayette, a double-agent spy who infiltrated British High Command and delivered critical intelligence that helped win the war at Yorktown. And yet, what did they receive in return? Some were granted freedom, most were not. Many were re-enslaved after the war, discarded by the very nation they helped build. Why did black men choose to fight for America? It's a question that echoes across the centuries. Why fight for a country that denies your humanity? The answers are layered. Some were promised freedom by owners, generals, or state legislatures. Some were already free and saw the revolution as a chance to secure liberty for all. Others had no choice, conscripted, coerced, or dragged into war like pawns. But all shared a common hope that their sacrifice might finally mean something. And yet, America's founding documents would betray them. The Constitution's hypocrisy, 1776. The Declaration of Independence proclaims all men are created equal. But slavery remains untouched. 1770, the Constitution is ratified. It counts enslaved people as 3/5 of a human, only for congressional representation, not rights, not freedom. Even veterans, black soldiers who lost limbs and blood in the war, were denied pensions, denied land, denied dignity. They fought a revolution. But the revolution refused to fight for them. The numbers they don't teach historians estimate that over 20,000 black soldiers and sailors participated in the American Revolution. More than 5,000 fought for the Continental Army. At least 15,000 joined the British ranks in pursuit of liberty. Some died in combat. Many died of disease. Thousands were captured and re-enslaved. But their sacrifice was real, their courage unmatched, and their erasure deliberate. After the war, what happened to the Black Loyalists? Here's what's rarely discussed. When the British lost, they didn't abandon everyone. In 1783, they evacuated thousands of Black Loyalists to Nova Scotia, Canada. But life there wasn't freedom. It was segregation, poverty, betrayal. The promises made were never fulfilled. Some of these survivors later left Canada and founded a new colony in West Africa, Sierra Leone, a nation literally born from the ashes of American racial injustice. They called it the Province of Freedom. Let that sink in. A piece of Africa exists today because Black Americans were betrayed by both empires. And what about the Black Patriots who stayed? They returned to a nation that celebrated liberty with parades, but couldn't spare justice for its Black heroes. Most received nothing. Some were forced back into slavery, A few spent years begging Congress for pensions, only to be ignored. They became ghosts of the Revolution, living proof of a truth too uncomfortable for America to admit. So why haven't we heard their stories? Because their existence shatters the myth that the American Revolution was purely noble, that liberty was universal, that the Founding Fathers stood for freedom, for all. But when black soldiers took up arms, they did it with more courage than any idealist in a powdered wig. They didn't just fight for independence from Britain. They fought for a vision of America that still doesn't fully exist. Today's echoes, why this history still matters. You might be wondering why dig up these forgotten names now. Because the struggle they faced still lives on. Today, black veterans still face higher rates of homelessness. Black service members still report racial discrimination in the military, and America still struggles to honor its full history. To understand the soul of a nation, you have to look at who it forgets. And in the story of America's birth, black soldiers were the heartbeat no one wanted to hear. Conclusion: they were patriots to Peter Salem, Salem Poor, James Armistead, Lafayette, and thousands of unnamed heroes. They marched into musket fire with no guarantee of tomorrow. They chose hope over hatred. They died for a freedom that barely knew their name. Today we remember them, not out of pity, but out of duty. They were soldiers, they were patriots, they were American, and they deserve more than a footnote in the textbooks. If this story moved you, share it. Talk about it. Don't let their names fade again. And for more hidden truths from history that they never teach in schools, make sure to subscribe to Ancient Light. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about who they tried to erase. And we bring the light back.